Hey everyone, my name is Matt. Welcome to my shop. Today is November 15th and this is my weekly shop update. So I'm super excited today because this shop update, as well as a few of my future videos, are sponsored by Wrangler Rigs. They sent me a few of their workwear products that I've been wearing and trying out as I've been out working on the bandsaw mill, and I'll be doing a video in the future with some thoughts that I have on the products, but so far they've been extremely comfortable, and the cold gear stuff, or the cold wear stuff, has been really warm. So right now I'm wearing this really nice work shirt as well as their carpenter pants, but the work shirt, or the ripstop work shirt, also comes in a flannel lined style, which I really like for this colder weather because it's just stupid warm. So far my favorites have been the Ranger pants, as you can see by the amount of staining on here already. I've been wearing them quite a bit. I really like all the pockets on here. On this leg there's pockets for like markers and my tape measure and stuff like that. That's been good. It's just been getting used to actually putting stuff in the pockets and then putting them back in the pockets so that I don't lose all my stuff. But when I remember to put stuff where it's supposed to go, it is very nice. And then my absolute favorite so far, my wife also really likes this, is the Ranger jacket. I found this thing to be extremely warm and comfortable, and I really like the look and style of it. I think it looks just absolutely amazing. So I'm super excited about this. I'll be continuing to wear the Rigs products while working on the bandsaw mill, and you'll see those in the upcoming bandsaw videos as well, if you haven't already caught me wearing a few of these products already. If you want to learn more about any of these products, there'll be links in the description for you to check out. So I don't have a whole lot going on in the shop this week because I've really been just trying to plug away at the sawmill. I really want to get that thing done and running because it's really starting to drag, and it's getting cold here. So I thought today I'd give you a little bit of an update on where I'm at right now compared to where it was in the last video where I installed the drive wheel. I've made a decent amount of progress since then, and I'm really in the home stretch. So I wanted to give you an update on that, as well as just answer some frequently asked questions that I've been getting about the mill. So let's head outside. So since my last video, here's how things stand. I went ahead and I created a mount on the beam for the motor to go on, which you can see sitting down there on the bed of the mill. I also went ahead and did all the electrical prep for the motor as well, so it's ready to go onto the beam as soon as I get the raised lower mechanism set up so that I can actually lift this beam up high enough so the wheels will clear this log and the log over there. And actually I need to move this log and that log out of the way before I can actually use this mill anyway, so maybe I'll be doing that shortly. But the raised lower mechanism is pretty simple. I have a 6-foot piece of Acme rod, 1.5 inch diameter, goes up to a coupler, to a short shaft up there, and to a bearing, and the bearings can be attached to the side of the carriage. And there's a sprocket up there that'll link both of the two Acme rods together, so when the raise and lower motor turns, it'll move it up the same distance on both sides to keep that thing nice and level through its whole travel. So where I'm at right now with that is I have the motor inside. I just got that scary cutter head thing off of it yesterday. I need to get the wiring done on that thing and then get a sprocket for it and tie it into this whole chain setup thing up there. Down here is all done. I have a thrust bearing and a holder plate on the base there that goes into a step shaft that I made, and that gets coupled to the Acme rod, and that's passing through those nut holder things that I made in 2 videos ago. So let's look at some questions, or answer some questions. How are you going to get these logs onto this mill? Well, I have some long-term plans for that, but for everything you see here right now, I'll be loading those onto the mill using my log trailer. I'll put them onto the trailer, I'll back the trailer up to the end of the mill, and then I'll just pull or push the logs directly onto the bed of the mill. How are you cutting steel with a circular saw, or what blade are you using in a saw to cut steel? Well, I'm using this metal cutting circular saw. It runs at a slower RPM than most circular saws, and it's also equipped with a carbide blade made for cutting steel. This is made by Evolution, and I think it was like $90. I have links in all of my sawmill videos in the description for the products that I'm using in the video, including this saw. What's the maximum width of cut going to be? Well, if you can find some way to clamp whatever you're cutting up here in the air, the distance between the uprights from here to here is 77 inches. So that's the absolute maximum cut width this thing will be able to do. Now, by the time I get some kind of log holders or side supports on here and all that stuff, it'll probably be somewhere around 6 feet. But in the future, if I encounter something that big, I'm sure I'll find a way to hold that thing down to the bed while this thing is cutting. How are you going to protect this thing from the elements? Well, for the time being, I'll probably do some creative tarping, but eventually I'll probably put some kind of roof structure on top of here and do it that way. I'd also really like to get covers made, or custom covers for the whole thing. That'd be kind of nice, just to kind of box it all in, but I'll kind of figure that out as I go. Is the 10 horsepower motor going to be enough? I don't know, we'll find out. But it's a lot easier for me to switch a motor out than it is to make the mill bigger. So at this point, I have this, is what I'm going to use. And keep in mind that I'm used to using a chainsaw mill, which takes roughly a 4 times bigger kerf. And the saw that I was using before, or the chainsaw that I was using, is about a quarter of the power of this thing. So we're talking about taking a quarter of the cut width with 4 times as much power. I think I should be all right, but we'll see. How have you not killed this drill press? I have no idea. Why is the carriage so tall? Well, the saw is designed to cut as high, or almost as high, as it can cut wide. So with this thing set up right now, this is at the 0 position almost, so it's down as low as it can go. It can now travel almost 6 feet up into the air, so it can cut the top of a 6-foot log without any issue. So let's take a look at some viewer projects. First up this week is a simple oak table by Geoff. He built this table for his 4-year-old daughter. She has a nightlight so she can go to the toilet at night and needed a side table to put it on. She was super excited with her new but simple table. Geoff has a video on his YouTube channel about making this table, and he has a bunch of other great videos on his channel as well, so check those out. Next up is a timber framed bed by Bob. Bob had always wanted a unique bed for his room, and as he was searching the internet for timber frame structures, he came across some beds. Bob utilized standard timber frame joinery, including mortises with through tenons, regular Morrison tenons, half-flap dovetail joints, and all of them are pegged. Except for the infill panels of the head and footboards, there is no glue or mechanical fasteners in the bed. All the lumber for this project came from logs that Bob had milled himself, some from his yard and some from his fiance's yard. You can check out more of Bob's work over on Instagram. Next is a jewelry box by Ethan. He built this jewelry box for his mom, and it's made of curly birch and walnut. He says the dovetails could be better, but he's still practicing. He also said this was his first time using armor seal, and he's really happy with how it turned out. It popped the grain wall and buffed to a nice sheen. Ethan does some really nice work, so make sure you check him out over on Instagram. Next is a dresser by Lee. This was his first experience using a lathe, which he purchased just for this project. He says on very close inspection, both legs and the mirror supports are not identical to their counterparts, but he was pleasantly surprised how close he was able to get them. So it's finally almost there. I'm pretty excited to be done with this thing and maybe get back to woodworking. I do miss it. This has been an incredible learning experience. I want to say a big thank you to everyone who's been following along so enthusiastically and so diligently. It really helps me get through this giant, massive project that I have never done anything like before. And it's been just a fantastic learning experience. I've enjoyed most of it. Again, a big thank you to Wrangler Rigs for sponsoring this video as well as the upcoming videos. Check out the links in the description to their products as well as links to everything I talked about today. So thank you as always for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments about the sawmill or anything back in the shop, please feel free to leave me a comment. As always, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. And until next time, happy woodworking. I can't wait to be woodworking again.